Good morning, or maybe even afternoon for some of you. Thank you very much for joining us here today. My name is Lisa Lashendro. I am one of the annuity directors here at Insurance Agency Marketing Services, and it's my pleasure to be able to speak with y'all today and introduce our guest speaker with North American. Her name is Tia Stanley. Hi, Tia.
Hello, thanks for having me on.
Absolutely. Thanks for joining us. Um, Today we're going to talk about North American as a company. We're going to dip a little bit into inherited IRAs and where North American is our star carrier for that. And then she's going to go into some of the products and how those features are definitely features that you want to have in your back pocket while you're doing your renewals and talking to clients, and how North American can be a really good fit for those folks. Before we get into that, though, I'm going to tell those of you that have never worked with IAMS a little bit about us and some of the some of the perks and things that you get with partnering with IAMS. So you have our story. And for those of you that are returning, I'm sure this is a repetitive portion of the webinar that you are already aware of it, but we got to let everybody know, and you might find out about a new perk or so that you would like to be involved with as well. So with that, I'll get going. Switch my screen here. All right. Start out becoming a new producer with IAMS, you get quite a few perks. Well, right out of the gate, we're going to give you a new producer builders bonus. And when I say new producer builders, one of the things you're going to hear me say is that IAMS loves to partner. We were looking for producers that we can partner with to help grow their business, help their business continue to stay solid and be there for you and put money back into your business. So we do that with new producer builders. We have several different levels. So once you hit $100,000 level, and that could be life or annuity premium, you can either get a 1,500 piece postcard mailing, $750 in cash. And don't think that any of these items listed here are the say that's all. Producers that we've been working with can tell you we definitely love to think outside the box. No reason to give you a mailer if that's not something that fits with your program or how you run your business. So we this is more of a guideline of some of the things that you could receive or get with IAMS. We have the $250,000 level, $500,000 level, and up. So you can see the more you write, the more you get. Um, this is within the first 6 months of being contracted with us. And then after that, we can move on to new producer or business reimbursement dollars, things like that. That'll help you with those marketing campaigns and things that you're interested in. The next thing that we do for our producers that are contracted with us is we help you out with referrals. So you love referrals in your business? Well, so do we. We're going to pay you for it though. So our referral program starts off right out of the gate, $50 bonus when you refer an agent that contracts with us. And then it just keeps going up $100 when they write their first piece of business. And then we start giving you basis points for all the business that referral writes with us. And that's broken out for you there. There are some guidelines, though. I mean, controlled business or partnerships and things like that could be something that we would need to discuss individually with your marketer. But definitely talk to us about referrals. Next, for those of you that are being working with IAMS in our back office, I think you can agree that they are a 5-star. It's a 5-star rating, if not more. We've got the folks back here that are going to help you conduct your business. The one thing that we want to do here at IAMS is we want you doing what you do best, and that's being in front of clients and talking to folks and growing your business. Let us do all the back office junk for you, staying on the line with a carrier for an hour to get status on a case or whatever the case may be, helping you get the application in correctly, help you with contracting, sales tips, illustrations, strategies. That's what you're going to use IAMS for. So you don't have to do all the research. We're going to do it all for you. So that's when your relationship with your marketer, your life marketer, or your annuity marketer is going to come in extremely handy. We have one phone number here at IAMS, just the 1-800 phone number. We have a 2-ring guarantee. So you are guaranteed to talk to a live person every time you call into us. And that's part of that 5-star service excellence that we strive for. So want to make sure that you're aware of that and let us help you with that as well. Next, I invite you all to make sure you're registered on our IAMS website. That's where you're going to get access to term quotas, sales tools, industry links, news, webinars, recorded webinars. All of that is going to be on our website. We've worked hard to have a very easy website to maneuver around. So I invite you all to be sure that you get registered on that and take a peek at that as well. On our IAMS website, once you're registered and contracted with us, you'll have access to Firelight. Firelight is one of the industry leading options to do e-applications for annuities, and we also have e-application options for you on the life side as well. But here's a list, an outdated list, I would say, of carriers that we have on Firelight. We try to have the majority of our core carriers on there, but just to give you an idea, there is a lot of options out there for Firelight, and we're always adding new products and keeping up with the industry on that application as well. Next, anybody I have talked to in the past, I'm sure I've talked to you about our creative marketing team. I'm so impressed with what they've done for my agents, and the talent that those guys have is phenomenal when it comes to being creative and really personally customizing a marketing solution or a creative marketing solution for you in your business. They can help me with, I've had them do anything from lawn signs to business cards to revamping a logo to creating a website, handling your social media, all the above. You name it, these guys can do it. So if you need any assistance with any of that, be sure to contact myself or any of our marketing directors here at the office. We'd be happy to help you with that. Next, a lot of folks I've been talking to recently didn't realize that we had IAMS Wealth Management here as well. This is something that Steve and Charles thought several years ago we needed to add to IAMS so that we can still be that one-stop shop for you to have access to everything that you need. This is a great resource for those of you that are already registered, licensed for securities, and are looking for a new home. We definitely help in that avenue. But for those of you that just want to make sure your clients are staying in your own backyard, don't want to have to refer a security sale to somebody else to take the rest of the sale off the table for you, this is also really for you as well, so that you can call IAMS Wealth Management, have them help your client with the security side of the business. And if you ever get registered or ever get licensed, then we will transfer all of that business right back to you. I don't know a lot of folks that will do that, but we do. So again, there's that partnership with IAMS. We're here to help you grow your business. The saying goes, you make money, we make money. So definitely reach out to your marketer or someone at IAMS Wealth Management to answer any questions on that. Trips. Let's talk about trips. COVID is now finally allowing us to get out a little bit. Tia just was able to come to our office for the first time in how many months?
Oh my goodness. Yeah, no traveling for the past 15 months. It's crazy.
Oh, that's so gross. Okay, so I know I'm ready to travel. We know that our agents are ready to travel. So we've got some trips planned here. We're pulling out all the stops on This is our Mediterranean cruise. This is going to be our top producer trip. We have our qualification through next June of 2022. So there is plenty of time for you to get enough business in the door to qualify and go on a Mediterranean cruise, taking off in Rome, stopping in Italy, Greece, ending up in Venice. I mean, it's not a trip I would turn down for sure. 4.5 million points to qualify. Any questions on that? Let us know. But we have one more trip to talk about, and that is our partnership with Athene. We are partnering with them, and that's a $2 million qualification. Tia, close your ears for a moment. This one here is going to be in March. We are running out of time on this one. I mean, we have until the end of the year, but if you have any questions on it, let us know. We also have our Life and Annuity Academy coming up here in the next few months. This is something that a lot of folks have been wanting to attend last year. When with COVID, there was a lot of disappointment that we had to cancel all of our academy and replace them with more of a seminar kind of webinar kind of deal. But we're excited to get this going again. We plan on doing a couple of these, if not 3 this next year, now that COVID, knock on wood, is allowing us to travel. But here is where you're going to be rubbing elbows with other professionals like yourself, sharing ideas with other professionals like yourself, and we're going to have the best of the best presenting. So this is definitely something that you want to look into. We do have emails going out on it, but if you're interested in getting registered, go to our IAMS website and you can register there or give our office a call and we'll be happy to help you out. Next, we obviously would have Facebook and LinkedIn. I encourage you all to, get a like or, accept our page or get on there as well. We try to keep you posted and what's new and what's coming in our industry. So always good to stay in touch with that. And guys, that is it. Hopefully that wasn't too painful for you. I'm going to get the show going here with Tia. It's what you all really came to listen to. And with that, Tia, I'm going to share my screen. We do have the question box open. We love to have that, correspondence going back and forth, have that open conversation. And Tia's happy with me interrupting her or stopping her to answer any of those questions as well. Right, Tia?
You bet. Bring it.
So a little more background on Tia. She has actually been with North American for over 6 years. However, she's been in the insurance industry for over 14. She's very heavily involved with NAFA, National Association for Fixed Annuities, so she knows her stuff. This year, and I believe you're still acting chair there with the education committee, aren't you?
That's right, year 2.
Nice. So, her high energy approach and developing relationships and sales concepts and her commitment to the industry is very impressive, guys. I'm excited that she had the time to spend with us today and share with our producers here at IAMS. And with that, I am gonna let you have the floor.
Well, I appreciate that, Miss Lisa. Can you hear me just fine? And can you see my screen just fine?
Yes and yes.
Okay, perfect. All right, so first and foremost, just wanted to say thank you to everyone attending. Thanks for carving out a part of your morning to spend with us here at North American. Really excited to give you a different approach on our best-selling fixed indexed annuity. And Lisa touched base on a few things when it comes to our strength and stability, why you'd want to work with North American. We're an A+ rated carrier. We've been an A+ rated carrier for a very long time, and we're privately held. You're not going to see us make any quick changes to appease any shareholders. That's not how North American works. We're strong, we're stable, we're in it for the long haul, and I'll actually be able to prove that to you with some of the future slides that I'm going to go into. But wanted to tell you real quick, when it comes to my background and being in the industry so long, it was a huge blessing for me to get my start in the insurance industry with being an executive assistant to an amazing financial advisor. So I know what it's like to greet those clients. I know what it's like to discuss those hard appointments with clients. If someone lost a spouse and they need to figure out what to do to be able to support them. You know, I've worked at a different insurance carrier and helped train those customer service reps. And so I went from seeing customers in person to actually training reps to be able to take phone calls from clients and be able to talk to them about how their policies work. And, you know, I've been there and done that really every stop that an application could take from you as the financial professional, signing off and then sending that off to the carrier and getting it back. I've worked at every single one of those stops. So I can promise you, anytime that I'm in front of you, I'm thinking of all those stops I've worked and how to share information about our products here at North American in a way that is going to make the best use of your time. So I promise I'll do exactly that, and I'll do it in a swift manner. So without further ado, I wanted to go ahead and go over the agenda. And this is something that I can tell you I had the absolute pleasure partnering with IAMS when it comes to specifically putting this together for you. And wanting to be able to talk about VersaChoice in a different way than we've talked about VersaChoice before. Wanted to give you a reminder when it comes to non-qualified stretches and inherited IRAs, North American is absolutely your home. And then we're going to go over a quick recap. So let's go ahead and dive in. When it comes to VersaChoice 10, you guys, this is our best-selling fixed indexed annuity, and it's been that way for years. And when we built it for accumulation and also flexibility, really taking a look at how can this accumulation value, this cash value, be flexible to a client's liquidity needs. You know, just for those, you know, that emergency money, when you think of the red, yellow, green, being able to have that slice of the retirement plan pie taken care of for those what-if situations, that's where VersaChoice 10 fits beautifully into any client portfolio. And that's how I personally feel, you know, taking a look at all of the financial objectives you guys are solving for day in and day out. And so again, we're going to take a look at VersaChoice traditionally, how you see it whenever you view a presentation from us here at North American. And then I'm going to give you a different spin. So I wanted to go over nuts and bolts really quick. This is a modified single premium product, which means you can dump all the additional premiums you want in the first contract year. After that, you cannot add any additional premium. We only have one chassis that's 1010 compliant, so a 10-year surrender charge schedule. We allow for a 10% penalty-free withdrawal available in the first contract year. That's important, and I'll get into why in my next slide. This issues age 0 to 79. That may vary by state, so always double check our state availability chart. And the minimum premium for VersaChoice 10, regardless if it's qualified or non-qualified, is $20,000. So taking a look at the first to market magic on VersaChoice 10, North American is still the only carrier to have liquidity like this that's ADL driven to a cash value. That's through our ELB rider, which has a fee of 65 bips. That's it. Traditionally, riders can have a charge anywhere of 95 bips up to, my goodness, over 1.5%. Us, we're only 65 bips. That's it. So if you wanted that first to market liquidity, you would add this ELB rider during the application process. So the 4 quadrants that you see on the screen, I'm going to go through these really quick with you because I know you've heard the VersaChoice story. Let's start in the top left-hand corner. All right, enhanced penalty-free withdrawals. Simple story, if you do not take that 10% penalty-free withdrawal, the following contract year, that will enhance to 20%. And it'll hang out at that 20% until you decide to take it. It'll go back down to 10%, but if you leave it alone that contract year, it will go back up to that 20%. What's really cool about this is that the first contract year that you have access to a 20% withdrawal is the second contract year, because we allow for that 10% during the first contract year. So that sets us ahead of our competitors out there in the industry, being able to see that. Going down to the quadrant underneath that, the return of premium feature, that ROP. With us, again, another simple story. You just have to wait 3 contract years before a client could activate this. And we will literally return their premium to them. If your client starts a policy with $100,000 and adds on that ELB rider, in the 4th contract year, they say, my goodness, I need my premium back, we will literally return their $100,000 to them. A lot of our competitors out there will say, oh, we'll return your premium to you, but we're going to take out the fee. Sorry about that. Well, not North American. We literally return the premium to the client. Now, getting over to the first to market magic, those ADL-based benefits. What's really cool with North American is that you just have to send in one physician's letter stating that the client cannot perform 2 out of 6 ADLs from their primary physician, and you can unlock these 2 benefits, which is great. That first one in the upper right-hand corner, that ADL-based surrender charge waiver, simply put, any time after issue, if we receive that physician's letter that a client cannot perform those 2 out of 6 ADLs, we'll waive all surrender charges on any size withdrawal, on multiple withdrawals, up to that full 100% of the accumulation value. And a simpler way to say it, you have a fully liquid policy. You have access to 100% of your cash value, your accumulation value, for the what ifs, just in case the client needs it. What's really cool about the ADL-based payout benefit, imagine this. Once we get that physician's letter in that a client can't perform 2 out of 6 ADLs, starting in the 3rd contract year, if the client wanted to receive a 5 pay of their accumulation value, we'll do exactly that. However, we'll put a multiplier on top of it first, which means, in a way, I've heard, many producers say, wow, you're kind of getting into the carrier's pocket at that point, because that's the client's premium they put in, any interest they've accrued along the way, plus this multiplier we're putting on top of that, to where they're fully walking away with more than their accumulation value over those 5 equal payments. That really does matter when a client is trying to figure out, okay, what type of liquidity do I need? That's why we wanted to try to build something as flexible as this, to where you've got enhanced liquidity and it doesn't matter what your health is. And then you've got even more enhanced liquidity if you can't perform 2 out of 6 ADLs to that cash value. So again, that right there, that's the traditional way that you've taken a look at VersaChoice 10, especially with that first to market liquidity with the ELB rider. But now we're going to switch it up a little bit. I'm going to give you a different way to think about VersaChoice 10 and the ease of business that North American has put into play. So I took a few snippets of our sales availability chart because I wanted to showcase this to you. Really, X marks the spot here on that product being available in that state. And I would say many of you financial professionals tuning in, you either live in a state where you're used to a ton of state variations, and that's why you've got IAMS in your back pocket to call and say, hey, what version do I have in this state? Or you might be licensed in multiple states where you're like, my current state I write most of my business in doesn't have a ton of state variations, but the sister state I'm next to does. Well, what's really cool about North American is really you only have 2 state quote unquote limitations, and here's what they are. We, as a carrier, we do not have any annuity products available in New York. We're not domiciled there, so we don't have any products available in that state. But you can take a look at what's available here. The only state variation to VersaChoice itself is that in New Hampshire, the 2-year point-to-point is not available. I want to let you know that that ELB rider, it's approved in every state that we do business, and there are absolutely no state variations. When you think about accumulation products or enhanced liquidity products that you're used to writing, my goodness, the state variations can range from anywhere, to 8 to 12 states. You don't have to worry about that pain point with North American, especially with that ELB rider. It's approved in every state that we do business, and it's absolutely the same, no state variations to that liquidity rider. So that's important to take a look at that and how we filed the product. We did that to make things easier for you and easier for our policyholders. Another thing that we did, let's rewind just a little bit. So last year, we wanted to publish what the average rate of return was for our VersaChoice 10 policyholders that were allocated into the most popular crediting method, which was the S&P 500 Mark 5% ER. And you can see from a snippet of that blast email we had shared in 2019, VersaChoice 10 policyholders that were allocated into the Mark 5 had an average return of a 9% interest credit. That matters because everyone tuning in, I know a lot of us take a look at illustrations, we take a look at backcasting so we can make the best possible choice when we're showcasing this information to the clients on how they want to be diversified. And hypotheticals are great to be able to figure out how you want to diversify within a product, but isn't it fantastic to work with an A+ rated carrier that said, here's what actually happened with our policyholders on our best selling fixed indexed annuity? So that's what we showed in 2019. So this year, when we were thinking of how do we want to showcase the average rate of return to our policyholders during the pandemic in 2020, we actually kicked it up a notch. And here's what we showcased to the field when we shared the average rate of return. We wanted to break that down between every crediting method available in VersaChoice. And then we also shared what that average interest credit was for policyholders, and it didn't matter how they were allocated. So you can see the options that we had for the S&P 500 Mark 5. That's that multi-asset risk control where you see the stars. We show you the average interest credit from those crediting methods during 2020 and also the maximum interest credit. We have full transparency for those popular crediting methods below. So when we wanted to say, okay, besides breaking that down per crediting method on what actual policyholders had an average interest credit on, what about all policyholders? What did that look like during the pandemic? Well, VersaChoice 10 policyholders on average earned 6.7% during the pandemic. That matters. It matters that we're that transparent with you. And I would challenge you to think about the carriers that you're doing business with now. Did they have this much transparency on their best-selling fixed indexed annuity? Did they let you know what the average interest credits were for policyholders and then let you know per crediting method what it looked like? Again, that goes back to what Lisa was stating with the strength and stability with North American. This is one of the many reasons that you'd want to do business with us. And you'd also want to take a look at VersaChoice 10, not just for accumulation, but accumulation in liquidity with that first to market ELB rider. Again, you'll only see that with North American. So before I move on, I wanted to showcase this to you when we were talking about average interest credits. Remember that blast email that I showed you in 2019, for all of our policyholders, their average interest credits were 5.8% in 2019. During the pandemic, the average interest credit for all VersaChoice 10 policyholders was 6.7%. Again, transparency matters, and that's why we want you to do business with us. Now, that was actual interest credits, which is great. What you're used to taking a look at to figure out, okay, do I want to do business with this carrier in this product, or do I want to run an illustration? That is exactly what you'd have to do to figure out backcasting. And North American has made this easy by taking the illustration game out of the question. Just take a look at our rate spotlight. We'll not only tell you every crediting method available, we'll tell you what the current rates are and exactly what that backcasting look like on an illustration. We'll show you the most recent 10 years and the highest and lowest in a 20-year look back. So all that information right there on your fingertips, right there on one page. To me, I love that. Now, if I can go back, because sometimes I get a little click happy, you guys, not going to lie, you'll notice that some of our crediting methods, some describe this as a fee for rate, meaning that you can pay a strategy charge to have an enhanced participation rate. And we've got that with our Fidelity Multifactor Yield Index. And when it comes to a strategy charge, you can feel free to use accrediting methods that have that, or you know what, you don't have to. We still have many options you can choose from that are competitive. But I wanted to go into that strategy charge and how we're different than our competitors out there that might have a crediting method with a strategy charge. So when it comes to frequently asked questions and how we look at this, how and when is that strategy fee calculated? Well, the fact for us is that we base it on the beginning year accumulation value, and then we deduct that from the end of year accumulation value. What a lot of our competitors will do is base it on the end of year, which means that could be an accumulation value that's a larger dollar amount, which means that'll be a larger strategy charge taken. Or some of our competitors take it out on a quarterly basis, not us. We take it out one time at the end of the term, and we base it on that beginning year accumulation value. Another popular question, can this charge or fee change after issue? And the answer is absolutely not. You lock in that strategy charge and it will not change. There's some of our competitors where it can change anywhere from 95 bips up to 2.5%. You're not going to see that with us. It is what it is when you purchase the contract. Another popular question, is the fee applied at death? And the answer is no, and I wanted to go into a little more detail on that. So when the client passes away during that contract year, some of our competitors, again, they either take it out quarterly, so they might have taken it out, or they'll take it out pro rata, meaning, oh, the policyholder passed away 4 months and 2 days into the contract, we'll prorate that. North American doesn't. We do not remove the fee during the contract year that the client passes away. I think that's important. Last but not least, when it comes to popular questions, what happens if that money applied to the Fidelity fee for rate strategy and there's no index credits during that 10 years? Meaning, what if that strategy charge eats into my principal? What we have at North American on VersaChoice 10 is actually an accumulation value true up. And what this means is at the end of the surrender charge period, at the end of the 10 years, we're going to take a look back at the amount of times the client was allocated into a crediting method with a strategy charge. And we're going to see, did that eat into their principal? If it did, we'll true them up and break them even. None of our competitors do that. So again, another interesting way to look at North American besides, okay, hypothetically, they're competitive when I run an illustration. VersaChoice is much more than that. Again, think about the transparency that we had, saying in 2019 and in 2020, here was the average interest credit to our policyholders. And you've got many crediting methods to choose from. And when it comes to a crediting method that has a strategy fee associated with it, really you can feel very comfortable with how North American is going to calculate that and how they're going to treat your client. And so that is the different ways that you can take a look at VersaChoice 10 in that story. So again, it's much deeper than just accumulation and liquidity. When you take a look at how we treat our financial professionals and then how we treat our clients, I think that's a great reason that you'd want to work with us. Real quick, Lisa did mention this. I wanted to go over non-qualified stretches and inherited IRAs. We're going to be your home. We're open for that business. And I wanted to quickly go into a couple details and then let you know that we're going to have an upcoming webinar with IAMS in the future. So pay attention to your emails where we're going to dive a little bit more into this. But when it comes to non-qualified stretches, wanted to share with you that we've got some amazing client-friendly material that can educate your clients on what this concept is. And also we make it crystal clear on the first page of our state availability chart what the product availability is. So for non-qualified stretches, your options are Performance Choice 8, which is an 8-year accumulation fixed indexed annuity. And you also have VersaChoice 10, which we just touched base on. Feel free to either add or don't add the ELB rider, whatever is going to be in the best interest of the client. You've got that flexibility to do it. If there's anything that's prohibited, real quick, it's this. We need to make sure that non-qualified stretch has a natural owner. So we're not going to allow a trust, an estate, a corporation, anything like that to be an owner. So again, has to be a non-natural owner, and your product availability is Performance Choice 8 and VersaChoice 10. Now, when it comes to inherited IRAs, I'm sure everyone had many questions on the Secure Act. I know IAMS did an amazing job making sure between that and even with all the DOL changes, I mean, they've been super transparent and have made sure you know before anyone else how to think about these changes, how carriers worked with them, and then what you can anticipate moving forward. IAMS is an amazing partner like that. So when it comes to inherited IRAs, I wanted to let you know that we have a home for you, regardless of what the date of death is. So when it comes to the date of death being on or before December 31st of 2019, you've got some great product availability. You can choose from our Charter Plus series, which we've had around for a long time, our Guarantee Choice MIGA. You've also got your Performance Choice 8 again, and your VersaChoice 10, right? So lots of product availability. Now, via the Secure Act, as of the date of death on 1/1/2020 and after, your product availability changes a little bit, right? Because we have to make sure we can abide by that standard of having that paid out to the owner prior to that 10-year anniversary. So that's why your product availability looks like this. It's either going to be the Performance Choice 8, or you're going to choose from our 5 to 9 year period certain for our SPIA, the North American Income. Wanted to mention this
Hey,
because
Tia,
this makes, yes,
just to confirm, if they go with the VersaChoice, that EBL would still be available even though it's a stretch.
correct.
Yep. We had one question come up with that. So
Sure, I love it. Thanks for hitting pause on me because I get going, you know me.
I know, right?
Okay, so a way that we're different when it comes to working with inherited IRAs, where that date of death is on 1/1/20 and after. There's competitors that we have out there that say, you know what, we're going to force the client to take an annual distribution leading up to that 10-year period of time. North American does not force that. You can take that distribution if you want to, but it's optional. So what I did is I took a snippet from the actual inherited IRA distribution form, that 10-year payout option, because I wanted you to see what it looked like. Please do not think that we're going to read through every line of this. I'm not going to do that to you. But I did want you to be able to see here how we bullet point this and make it absolutely crystal clear, where if you wanted to receive, if the client wanted to receive a distribution within that 10-year period of time, they absolutely can. That's their choice. But we're going to make it very clear with us as a carrier abiding by the Secure Act that any remaining contract value that's going to be dispersed on the last business day of the 10th calendar year after the deceased's date of death. So whatever happens, regardless if you want to take an optional distribution during that period of time or not, you know that whatever is there in the accumulation value, we're going to have to disperse that, again, abiding by the Secure Act. So I wanted to let you know that flexibility that we have when it comes to your inherited IRA business. You're definitely going to want to take a look at North American for that.
Yeah, I want to touch on that a little bit, Tia. We work with, I've got over 70 carriers here with IAMS, just on the annuity side and same on the life side. And I will tell you, North American, every step of the way is going to be our top recommendation because of that reason right there. No other carrier that I'm aware of does that. All the other carriers out there that will allow an inherited IRA, which not a lot do, are going to, kind of put that stipulation, well, you're going to have to take it out every year in the next 10 years. You have flexibility. Your client has flexibility. So if their tax bracket goes lower throughout that 10 years, they're going to pay less taxes on it, right? So, I mean, this flexibility is a real big deal. Make sure you guys are aware of this, have a good understanding of it, because guaranteed you're going to run into an inherited IRA sometime in your career, and you're going to want to make sure you're aware of the options you have with North American.
Yeah, I appreciate that, Lisa, because you're right. I mean, we had talked about this when I was in your office, actually, when the Secure Act was announced. We all had to comply with it, honestly, within about a 2-3 week period of time. That's a quick turnaround time for something to be announced and then for the implementation date. And so what we wanted to do at North American is be easy to work with. And we also wanted to make sure, for all the carriers, I think there's only 2 of our competitor carriers that offer one of these 2 options. And we wanted to make sure that we would abide by the Secure Act, and of course, wanted to make sure we had amazing client-friendly material to help you educate your clients on the topic. So we've got a great Secure Act FAQ, and we also, as you can see on your screen, have great client-friendly materials to take a look at how to explain what an inherited IRA or a non-qualified stretch is. So any of the material that you see here, of course, IAMS has it. You'll want to make sure that that you contact them. Lisa, correct me if I'm wrong, but aren't you guys down to a guarantee of the phone will ring 2 times or less and you'll get an answer?
That's right. Used to be 3. We upped it or lowered it to 2.
Up the game. That's
That's
right.
right.
So getting to the home stretch here of, North American, again, non-qualified stretches and inherited IRAs, we are your home. We're looking forward to receiving that business from you. Wanted to go into a recap of what we covered and also remind you about our EPC loyalty program. Lisa did a great job at the beginning talking about the new producer builders program that you've got with IAMS. And I wanted to let you know, when it comes to working with North American, much like that program that IAMS is doing with you, we want to be able to help you reinvest back into your own business. And that's why we have this loyalty program in place. So you can see we have 3 levels based on issued fixed indexed annuity during a calendar year. We've got our executive, our president, and chairman level. And so you can see for executive, for an issued $1 million in FIA business that calendar year, that's an additional 50 bips from us to you. If you're at the president level, that's $3 million in issued FIA business during a calendar year, and that's an additional 1%. From North American to you. And then our final level, the chairman level, for $5 million in issued FIA business during a calendar year, that's an additional 1.5% from North American straight to you. You'll want to make sure that you're at a qualification level of straight or below. And if you're a financial professional or corporation or licensed only agent assigned to your own hierarchy, that hierarchy will need to be at straight or below. And if you work with a broker-dealer, that broker-dealer must approve our loyalty program. So if you have questions on if your broker-dealer has approved it, contact IAMS, and they'll get you taken care of, because we're always a phone call or an email away for IAMS to make sure that we can look up that information for them.
Yeah, guys,
I won't.
This is I'm sorry, Tia, but I just want to reinstate something. I mean, this is a great way for you guys to double dip. Double dip on the benefits that we have here at IAMS, your marketing dollars, your trip, qualification points, all of that. And then, on top of that, the business that you write with North American, get some extra perks there too. And Tia's going to show you even more perks that come with that. So just writing some more business with, these inherited IRAs, or, looking for that stability for your clients. This is a big game changer for, your revenue as well. So it's pretty awesome, Tia.
Well, I appreciate that. And thanks for fangirling a little bit. We need more fangirling, right? So I appreciate that. Yeah, I feel like it aligns beautifully with the values that IAMS has, and that assistance that you guys want to bring your financial professionals. And it's like, mirror us up. So one thing that's unique about our loyalty program is the fact that it retro pays. You probably noticed 2 things. Number one, I said repeatedly, this is on issued FIA business. Another thing I said during the calendar year, do you have to qualify each year? You do. Two things to keep in mind: how you end the year is how you start the year. You'll actually be grandfathered into the same level for the first quarter of the following year. So remember, how you end it is how you start it. Another thing is the fact when you hit a qualification level, you get a retro payment to true you up on all that issued FIA business you sent us. A lot of times, loyalty programs are going to say, send us this business, and then once you hit a level, moving forward, you'll earn additional basis points. And North American said, you know what, we can do that, and we can up the ante. So that's why we have that retro payment built in. So you can see on your screen for each qualifying level you hit what that retro payment is. You know, collectively for that $5 million in issued FIA business, what you earn in retro payments, and then what you earn along the way. That's an additional $75,000 in your pocket that does not include your normal commissions paid. A great way that North American can help you reinvest back into your business. Now, I understand $5 million in issued FIA business, that's a huge amount. I recognize that. So think about it this way. For $1 million in issued FIA business, North American will send you that retro payment of $5,000. So when you're thinking about those carriers that you're working with, you know, I had said this earlier, are they being transparent, you know, with the average interest credits that policyholders earned? Well, let me ask you this question. The carriers you're working with now, are they providing you $5,000 in additional compensation to $1 million issued in FIA business? You know, think about that. Again, another great reason to work with North American. Now, as I get through these disclosures, here's what the recap is going to be on what we covered. If you're taking a look at those variation states, you as a financial professional, again, you might live in one of those states where they have a ton of state variations. I want to remind you that North American, you can share the same story, meaning that we only have one state variation in New Hampshire. There's no 2-year point-to-point available. However, that ELB rider is the same in every single state. Non-qualified stretches and inherited IRAs, I went over this quickly. And again, we'll go into more detail in a later webinar that we're going to pair with IAMS, but we are your home and we do make it easy to work with us. And last but not least, if you have any questions on the materials that you saw, IAMS is just a phone call or email away for you. In fact, a 2-ring phone call, and they will get you taken care of. So anything you saw, feel free to call, and I know they'll be following up with you as well. It was amazing pairing with you, Lisa, on this co-hosted webinar. Thank you so much for the opportunity, and I'll flip it back over to you.
Awesome, Tia. Well, as always, you do an amazing presentation, breaking things down to make it a little bit easier to understand. You know, a lot of folks look at all these bells and whistles, and sometimes that gets, you know, all the cosmetic and all the different, you know, additions can get confusing. But I love the way you present things to make it real simple for folks to understand. So I appreciate that. I will be following up. I am going to go ahead and send out that client brochure on inherited IRAs to all of you, as well as additional information on the VersaChoice, so that you all have that information at your fingertips. So I'm going to follow up with all of you on that. I'll be giving you a call today, seeing if you have any additional questions. And then Tia and her internal Jeff are always available for a conference call or something like that if we got to look at a particular case that might be, you know, take a little bit more strategy to it. So with that, I again thank you all so much for your time. I look forward to speaking with you all. And Tia, as always, thank you for everything that you do and your partnership with us here at IAMS. We appreciate you, girl.
Oh, appreciate you. Right back at you.
All right. I'll let everybody get back to it. Have a wonderful day, and we'll see you next time. Bye-bye.